Ladies and gentlemen, on March 2nd, 2021, I participated in Twitch Rivals Hand and Brain. Essentially, a chess creator was paired with a non-chess creator. We were the brain and they were the hand. We would say the name of a piece and they would have to move that piece. The event's prize fund was $35,000. I was partnered with QTCinderella, and we had a very tough group, one that included Hikaru. Hikaru's teammate was Hutch, 1400 rated, about 600 points higher than QTCinderella, but in this video, I'm gonna take you through our head-to-head matchup, give QTCinderella her deserved credit, and then I will analyze the game. And if you're curious why I took a few days off YouTube, well, all I can say is I'll talk about that at a later date. It's all good. You got, don't panic. You're fine. Knight, Monka S, just whatever. Just knight, you chilling? It's all good. Yeah, he plays the best way too. He plays, that's a good move. Someone followed my stream and then they actually didn't even follow, just popped in and told me to go die.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not even a follower.
Thank you for the note. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, kind stranger. Thank you for that.
You know what I feel, Queen? You know what I always feel bad about? If I roast someone and then they like resub and then they say sorry, I'm like, oh,
I know. I hate when that happens. They just won't let me see stuff. And even if they like see me scrolling up and clicking on like message deleted, they'll be like, stop, cutie.
King? Yeah. I definitely do that. Like I always do a chat history segment. And... Let's go knight.
Can't decide if I want to develop my B knight or if I want to set something up on my by moving this knight over to E, because if I do that, then if he for some reason took with his knight, I could take with a pawn, and then my pawn would be staring at his bishop, or if he took with his bishop, I could take with that. But it's the beginning of the game, so I should just develop.
Oh, come on. He actually played that move. I hate both of those guys. Like, oh, that's a good move. All right. Let's say queen.
I think this is the better move because I'm developing, question mark. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to have to start going a little faster.
Just not.
Oh, but he also has that there. Yeah, I just simply do not know. If I go here. Chat. He takes. I take, he takes. Okay. I think this is interesting, but probably bad.
Interesting, but probably bad.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting, but probably bad.
Yeah,
I feel bad for your bishop. We're gonna have to get your bishop out. His knight is very strong there in the center. I'm trying to find the best move, not just for right now, but also like down the line. Queen.
Really? I don't think you're gonna like what I'm about to do.
Okay. I cannot confirm whether I like that or don't like it.
If he takes my knight, I get his rook. If he doesn't take my knight, we trade queens. And then my knight is in a cool position that I like, because then I can take his bishop.
I mean, you're up a pawn against the 1400 on move 14. Welcome to the big leagues. Okay, let's say knight.
Okay, I want to... Nope, that's not what I want to do. I want to get where... No. Sorry, I'm trying to look for forks, and there aren't really any. And I'm curious if I need to use my other knight. If I use my other knight, I'm staring at his knight that he would have to move or he would have to trade with me. So I think that's safer, I guess. So I'm going to do that.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah, you're up a pawn against the 1400. How you feeling?
Stressed.
Let's make a pawn move here.
Not 100% sure on which one. I need to get my bishop out, so I'm going to say this.
Yeah, it's like the first game. Remember the very, very first game of the day? You did like this knight jump and then you just got kicked out?
Yeah.
If the less of those one move knight jumps just attacking, because like 800s will blunder, but 1400, like he will defend. He'll just see it, stop it, then kick you out.
So I think this is the better move because then I have more eventually to maybe fork these rooks. I hope. We'll see, chat. Starting to do something a little crazy over here, I see. I think the move is this. I can't decide if I was supposed to go A or B, but I didn't want to take that. It would take me probably 45 seconds to figure it out. So I need to count. If I go here, 1, 2.
Wow.
Freak.
Very aggressive. So they're also going to start playing fast, I feel like. So pawn?
Yeah. Okay, I really need to count in this section over here. I'm like struggling to figure out. Okay, maybe that's fine.
I feel so awful. I'm just sitting here like...
Yeah.
I don't know. Dude, my heart is pounding. There's a micro war here being fought. Let's say pawn.
I'm stressed. The issue is if I get trapped in over here, I might want to move my H pawn so then I can take that eventually, or I can just try to promote
Rook.
I was just staring at the rook. If I go here, and then he takes, I take. That's pretty good. I'm doing it. I don't know.
King.
My brain. Okay, yeah.
King?
Oh, okay. So clearly I'm not going where you want me to go.
King move?
I think it's this. I don't know.
King?
Fucking hell, what is it? I gotta go back?
King?
Dude, I don't know. I guess.
So
It's the only spot I haven't gone.
Rook?
I'm like, Jesus Christ. I don't want to go back because that's I go here.
Rook? Oh no, King?
Kill me.
Oh, they got us.
They got it.
King. Oh man, King. And now he's the flex. The flex. Oh man. Dude, you were winning. Oh, you're such a beast. It was so close. You almost won. So I told you I would analyze this game, and I will, because to be honest, QT and I had a very difficult group. And when your opponents are double your strength, to score 95% accurate games against them while they have to go 97% to beat you is extremely impressive. The whole point of this is to motivate all of you who think that if you're ever stagnating, you are getting better. And you will have these games where you can stay toe-to-toe against people who are supposed to just wipe the floor with you, right? So we begin the game with what's known as a stonewall Dutch. Now, a Dutch defense could begin with d4, f5, d4, e6, and f5, but QT plays it like this. She always kind of mirrors, she plays a Queen's Gambit declined, and then she goes for a stonewall. So the benefit of a stonewall defense is in a world where you get everything you want, right? Like this. You will control the center square from their knight, and you will control the other center square for your knight. You win the battle for these two squares. This f-pawn allows you to move your rook to target the castled king, and you have this open line. Maybe you'll go g5 and g4 and so on and so forth and clamp down here in the middle of the board. So that is what a perfect stonewall looks like, and you can even play the stonewall with the white pieces. I have a video out on it. But what are the drawbacks of the stonewall? All your pawns are on the same color, which means that one of your bishops hates life, and it's this bishop on c8, whereas this bishop gets to roam freely. But the problem is, when you play a strong opponent, strategically speaking, they're going to target that bishop immediately, and they're going to trade it, which nerfs your attack. And now, well, knight to e5. And the problem is black doesn't get any of what they want. So how do you adapt to this, right? Strategically speaking, black is doing not great here. Not great, right? So we play knight d7, and now they play f4. They just clamp down on the position. At this point, white is slightly better because white has the better bishop. That's literally it. It's the fact that our bishop is pretty bad. Black should now consider kind of phase 2. You're not going to get an attack. You shouldn't take because they just fork you. So I told QT to make a queen move, and she did. Because, you know, you also have to realize when you're playing hand and brain, while I do think a move like c5 is the best move here for black to shatter things, could get a little bit wild. So, you know, queen here, queen e2, and now knight b6. At this point, when I was telling QT to make a knight move, I meant, you know, jump into the middle. She does this, hitting this. They push, and now she finds knight a4, and actually finds the fact that you can take on b2. To be honest, I think taking on b2 is better with maybe the knight, but it just was a little bit too complicated. So we trade everything. She brings the knight back, and then, you know, they make this trade. So actually, black has emerged from the opening up a pawn. And as this game was progressing, Qt's just calmly up the pawn. Now, of course, here, it's better for black to play a move like knight to d5. Just get this trade. Why is this better? Because you activate the e-file. Like, that's it. And this is guarded, and you stockpile pressure on the e-file, and you fix your pawn structure. QT plays knight g4. These one-off knight moves aren't great. You probably should try to avoid them. Rook to e1, b6. Great move, making a pawn break on the queen side. They play h3, we back up. Trade, and a4. Super important to play a4, otherwise black plays b5. So a4, I said knight, takes, and she took with the c-pawn. Slightly better, again, to take with the e-pawn, because at least you open up the file for your rook. So you need to think about these kinds of things, right? Like, but this is completely fine, except now we obviously have a target, and they go for that target immediately with the rook. But we double up, we defend everything, and we're chilling. Now, at this point, what black needs to do, black needs to go trade the a-pawn for the b-pawn, infiltrate, and win the game using this passed c-pawn, right? So they play g4, we take. It's, in my opinion, better to just reinforce the pawn, but I said pawn, and she didn't know what I meant, so pawn, and now g6. The problem is that when they go here, they do something to our structure called fixing our pawns, making it impossible for us to move, and also making it impossible for our king to move up. If actually would have been better here to play h6, because this is a big difference. This is a big difference because we can play h5. And then g6, and even though our structure is locked, we have a protected pawn that can maybe move down the board later in the game. But rook a8, e4, which is a bold move. We play bishop, a big trade happens. They don't trade rooks. Okay, they don't trade rooks, and we play rook a2. Now, the mistake that QT made here in the game was the fact that she tried to look for checks. In this position, when you've got pieces like this, you need to go for the weaknesses. Like, you just need to go for the weaknesses. Of course, taking a free pawn is also not bad. So they play rook e1. Now, at this point, the easiest way to win this, rook behind the pawn and push the pawn. So I told her pawn, she pushed. They immediately play this move. Here, you can win by playing rook to h2. It's not about giving checks. It's about finding the right check. You can't take now, because check, the king has to stay guarding the rook, and then wherever it goes, you have the second rook. So it's about the right check. It's not just about giving check, right? So outflanking the passive king, and if king to g1, you do something called rooks on the second rank, or you come and defend your pawn, right? What ends up happening in the game is she goes for a rook trade, which is the wrong decision because they don't have to take. If take, check, that's good. But the problem is that they can go here, and now we give too many checks. And when I told her king, she moved the king in the wrong direction. Of course you want to bring the king this way, because if white tries to win this pawn, you got rook a4, king d5, and you can try to win that pawn in return. But what ends up happening, QT spends a too many moves shuffling, and this is still a draw. The craziest thing is this is still a draw. But I knew that at some point they were going to create winning chances, and they did. They did create winning chances. You know, it's very difficult because I know that they want this, and if we go king e7, there are some positions where d5 might be possible, and you know, even with the trade of rooks, like we might get to a king and pawn endgame that if I tell QT to move her king, she either goes here or king d7, and we might lose it in the king and pawn endgame. But ultimately what ended up happening, as you saw there from the video, they got the king in, and even here, it's still a draw. It's still a draw because you have to monitor the pawn, but ultimately, this happens, d5, and even this position is probably still a draw, but yeah, you've got to go king e7. King e7 would have still been enough to hold because, for example, king d5 here, and then king e7, there's rook d3 check that we can play, king e5, and rook e3. That's the key, is that you have to keep giving checks. So, for example, king d5, rook d3, king e4, you can go like rook d6, for example, and even if white is able to win this pawn, it's 2-on-1 and it's a draw. But QT played rook d6, forgot about the check, and they were able to get the rook. But a very close game! So close. And I couldn't be more proud. You know, we almost took down Hikaru. Ultimately, Hikaru and Hutch went on to win the big grand prize, which I believe was $5,000. So you've been mildly clickbaited if you made it this far in the video, and I apologize. But that's how QTCinderella and I almost took down Hutch and Hikaru in the $35,000 Twitch Rivals prize pool. So, like I said, hopefully this was a bit inspiring for some of you, and yeah. The underdog doesn't always have to lose. I'll see you in the next video.